Hi, I'm Arlene McIntyre, Creative Director at Ventura Design, and you're listening to Shut the Front Door, a light-hearted podcast that will bring you through the front door and into the homes of influential and interesting people. Home for me is one of the most important things in my life. My career has fortunately given me the opportunity to work closely with people and to help them create a home they will cherish forever. Today we are joined by one of the most sought-after inspirational speakers of our time, Baroness Mone of Mayfair, OBE. Founder of Ultimo Brands International, Baroness Mone set out with a strong vision of helping women to look and feel their best. Fast forward 2 decades, and she is best known as one of Britain's most influential people, both as an entrepreneur and an advocate for equality for women in business. The Baroness has inspired, coached, and mentored audiences and individuals in over 50 countries over the last 2 decades. In 2015, she was given a Life Peerage and was asked by Prime Minister David Cameron to conduct the Mone Review, an insight into helping startup businesses in deprived areas. She was also awarded an OBE from Her Majesty the Queen for her outstanding contributions to business. A native of Glasgow, mother to Rebecca, Declan and Bethany, and fiancé of Doug Barrowman, it is my great pleasure to welcome Baroness Mone to Shut the Front Door. Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good. To be honest, the closest I've ever gotten to a baroness would be when I was watching Downton Abbey. So,
Right, okay. Well, you're not close to me today, but we are speaking over the internet. So,
how is weather today over in the Isle of Man? Is it wet and dreary like it is today in Ireland?
Yeah, we always have the sort of same weather as you. Our border is closed here, so we came back, about maybe 17 weeks ago. I came back from London from the House of Lords, and I haven't been really able to get to London since. So hopefully, they'll open the borders up soon and we can get on with it. But lockdown has been very, very good for us. And I know it's been really difficult for people out there. But I suppose we've kind of just got on with it and got into fitness and get into finishing projects and everything else. Otherwise, you could just sit around and, eat too much, drink too much and be really down and depressed. So for us, it's just been, we've made it good. And I know that's easy to say, but I suppose when you take a really bad experience that's going on in your life, it's just how you deal with it. And we've been busy.
That's good. So you found that this period of time has been productive for you?
Yeah, it has been. But again, I feel very, very, my heart goes out to people that are, locked in small apartments, no garden, lost their jobs, etc. And, it can be lonely as well. But, luckily, Doug and I have got one another and, thank goodness for FaceTime and Zoom. We've had, a party with all the bridal party. We were supposed to get married on the 2nd of May. So we had a kind of party on Zoom for that. And, just keeping in touch with the family several times a day. And as I said, all the things that you start off a new year saying, I want to finish this and I want to finish that, and you never get round to doing it. So it's good to see the list has come down.
For sure.
Starting new inventions as well. It's been good. So yeah, it's been great and losing weight and keeping fit. So can't complain.
And having a structure in your day is really important as well.
Absolutely. I mean, for me, I now treat my body like a business, and I get up in the morning and we train like 3 times a day. It's either twice a day and walking 90 minutes at night. And that just helps to clear the mind, get you motivated. Without fitness now, I cannot perform in business, and I cannot perform if I'm feeling, overweight and unfit. It just affects everything that I do. So now, with the fitness, it kind of kickstarts everything and it keeps everything going, which is great because, it's so easy to go back to the way I used to be, which was over 8 stone overweight. And I never ever want to go back there. I never want to see that person again. I didn't like her. I didn't like the way I felt. I didn't perform.
Mm.
For me, fitness keeps my mind healthy.
Yeah, and having that structure, and it's something to look forward to as well that you can combine with your working day. And it's lovely to have that time with Doug, as you mentioned. And it's nice that although you're confined to the same space, you have still structure in your life and you can combine work with workouts. So it's perfect.
Yeah, I know. Well, obviously there's offices here in London, well, here in Isle of Man, and there's offices in London as well. But
Mm-hmm.
we've just been really working from home, like
Yeah,
most people. And luckily, we've got an office each in the house and got plenty of land here to be walking about. So,
excellent.
yeah, I think it's getting to the stage now, though, we want to leave and start living normally life, just like everyone wants to, going out to restaurants and seeing your friends and family.
Yeah.
But as safety does come first, and we've all got to follow what the advice is of the government, and that's what we need to do.
Yeah, for sure. And how do you think that the English have it was like? Do you think they've really come together as a nation throughout the entire lockdown?
Yeah, I believe people have, and everyone has been abiding by what government advice has been, and this all just shocked the world. This virus, and we were dealing with trying to sort out the unknown, and what's right to do at the right time, and to try and stop the virus from spreading. Um, so I believe that everyone has worked so hard, and it's easy to criticise people and point the finger, but everyone has been working so hard um, to do their best for everyone. And I think when we come out of this lockdown, it's just a matter of everyone sticking together because we're all in it together.
Mm-hmm.
You're an employee or you're an employer, and to get the economy going again, because that's the most worrying thing. But if we start a battle between, employees versus employers, because people are getting frustrated, it won't go anywhere. That's why we all need to stick together and get through it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then if we do that, then I think we'll come out of it, quite quickly.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hopefully by this time next year we'll be in a much happier, more positive space and we'll be at the better side of it all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I have so many questions for you today, Michelle, and I'd love to start by asking you what your first childhood memories of your home were. Can you describe those to me?
I had a very, very happy upbringing, in the East End of Glasgow, which is a working class background. The people were just, had a heart of gold. It was a kind of fairly, I would say, I wouldn't say poor, but we didn't have really a lot of income, disposable income to spend. My mum and dad worked very hard. I stayed in the kind of broom cupboard. My mum and dad's cut my bed so that it fitted into the broom cupboard because it was just the kitchen was in the lounge and the lounge was in the kitchen and there was just one bedroom.
Mm.
So that's where I was. But I just always remember kind of a loving family. And then, my brother died when I was about 8 years old, which was devastating, my younger brother. And then my father was confined to a wheelchair when I was 15. So that's when I decided to leave school. Going back to when I was 10, I already started a business and already had a few businesses from the age of 10 to 15. So it was kind of in my blood to be an entrepreneur. And then I left at 15 to support my mum and dad with no qualifications. So, which I was always worried about. But I think when you've got that drive and determination and positive energy, I think that's when it sees you through all the kind of, the setbacks.
Definitely. And as a teenager, you had always wanted to be in business. You had this burning ambition, I once heard you say. Where do you think that came from?
I don't know where it came from because, my mum and dad, are basically working class. And there's no entrepreneurs in my family. So I don't know where it came from. So yeah, it's unusual. I was just always born with that determination and can-do attitude, and I had dreams, and I just thought that why should it be just because you're from the East End working class background of Glasgow, and you don't have any money, and you don't have the education that you wanted to get, that you're going to be a failure in life. It doesn't matter where you're from or what education you got, and that's the way I've always thought, that determination and never giving up always sees you through.
100%. And when you're building a team around you to this day, how important is experience over qualifications to you?
Well, I mean, it's great when you get graduates, because it gives them, shows that they've got the discipline to study and to get through all of their exams. But that doesn't mean to say that, they've got common sense. And you must have common sense when you're in business. And it doesn't mean to say that they've got the drive and the determination. So sometimes you can put them up against, someone like myself that didn't have anything to begin with. And these people with nothing can absolutely wipe the floor with them because they've got nothing to lose. But I mean, it just depends, if you get someone that's got the education behind them, and they've got that determination and they've got common sense, then it's just a real winner, isn't it? But
absolutely,
it's quite hard to get all of it together.
Yeah, it is. It's very rare, I would agree, to get all those qualities in one person. I think experience is key, 100%.
I think life experience. I think, I sort of graduated in life, and that was only just because I started full-time work when I was 15. Whereas if you go to university, you don't really start full-time work until you're about 23, 24.
That's true.
Depending on what you do. So I had a good, 9 years ahead of all these people.
You're ahead of the curve. And when, can you describe your first ever business deal to me when you were 15?
Well, I left school at 15, and then because no one would take me on full time because I didn't have a national insurance card number. So I got a job as a kind of fashion model. I hated it. I couldn't stand it. But I did that to get some money in the door, just walking up and down a catwalk and, being a kind of promotion girl for Bell's whiskey and all the rest of it. So, but I absolutely hated it. I remember I became a Tennent's girl as well in the cans of Tennent's lager. And we found out that I was underage and I had to destroy all the cans of lager. Because I did say, oh yeah, I'm of age, and that was it. So yeah, I just did that until I got a job with Labatt's, the beer company, and I started off as an admin girl. And I set myself a goal that day I started, that I was going to work my way up to the top within about 3 years' time. And I did that within about 18 months' time, from an admin girl to being a director of Scotland. And that was just, again, through hard work, determination, and I've always been an ideas person, and always seem to think outside the box. When you look at a situation, I can always kind of make it better and have a fresh pair of eyes look at it. So, yeah, I became the sort of best salesperson in the whole of United Kingdom. And then I got promoted to being a director. Yeah, so that was a good time. But then I got made redundant when I was 24 because they sold out, Labatt's sold out to Whitbread UK. And I was devastated, absolutely devastated for 6 weeks, because I had a great package, good salary, good company car. I then had 2 children at the time. It was my first baby I had when I was 20, my second when I was 24. Wow. And I was absolutely devastated. And then, 6 weeks later, I went to a dinner dance, and that's when the idea of Ultimo came into my head, because I was wearing an uncomfortable cleavage bra. And So that's when the journey began. I sold Ultimo about 5 years ago, so I don't have that company anymore, but that was the famous one that was, all around the world.
That's right. It's the best story ever. I think that's what everyone knows you for. It's the most incredible story, in fact. I believe Netflix have been in touch with you to do a movie about your life. Is that true?
Yeah, I've had lots of companies that have come wanting to, do even a TV series or a drama, a film or whatever. Just at the moment, I'm just so busy and never say
Mhm.
never. We'll see what happens. But, I just get on with my day-to-day stuff that I've got to do that I really enjoy. And, sometimes all the kind of the press of the I'm a celebrity, get me out of here, and all these other TV shows, they just kind of have to wait just now because, I just love being an entrepreneur and earning money.
For
So,
sure. And did you find when you were growing up that you always related more to adults than to kids your own age?
always. Oh, I was always very, very mature for my age.
Mm.
Always very mature. And I was. Everyone used to say, she's so grown up for her age. I just think I had such, a lot on my plate to look after my family because when my brother died, mum and dad were obviously depressed, and then when my dad was in the wheelchair, they were depressed obviously again. So I just felt that there was a lot of pressure on me to look after the family. And to be honest with you, I still do. I'm kind of like the head of the family, where, the whole lot of them, they always come to me if they need anything. And, they run to me with issues and all the rest of it. And that's just the way it is because that's just what I've been like my whole life. Because all I do is they come to me and they say, we can't get this done. Can you help us? And, even my PA as well. And they say, oh, please, we can't get anywhere with this person or whatever. So I call myself the chaser because I say, right, give me 10 minutes and I'll sort it out. And oh my God, do I try for that 10 minutes? I just feel like I loved a challenge. It's not a case of showing off or anything. It's just I absolutely love a challenge.
That's it. And do you feel like people are born as entrepreneurs, or is that something that can be learned?
I think it can be learnt. It can be learnt if you have the basic ingredients of, and being an entrepreneur is a roller coaster, and you can experience some of the lowest points in your life to some of the highest points in your life. So as long as you don't give up, because you would be giving up every second of the day. So as long as you just buckle in tight and hold on as tightly as you can, and you've got to have the nerve to do it. You've got to be a risk taker. Work hard. Just accept that you're not going to get holidays at the very beginning. Don't spend all the money that you get in and think, yeehaw, I'm got lots of money, because you never know what's around the corner. Just like what's happened with COVID, you never know when you might need that money for a rainy day.
This is true.
And it's so easy to build a company. Not so easy. It's hard. It's hard going to build a company, but oh my God, it's so easy to lose the whole thing.
That's so true. And you often kind of hear about people that have absolutely made their fortune and they literally don't have the time to enjoy it or even spend it. So there's that side of the coin as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you've always been a little toughie.
I always, always. I don't have any fear. I just have no fear whatsoever. My mum and dad, my granny always brought me up to have respect for everyone, no matter if you're a cleaner, the Queen, whoever. I treat everyone the same. So I don't suck up to someone because they've got more money than the other guy next to them. But I have got no fear, and I suppose, I don't take any. I can't swear on your radio show, but
yes, you can.
I don't take any shit from anyone.
Yeah.
but I don't give shit. So I don't go out looking for trouble. But,
Mhm.
if trouble comes to my door and people are being unfair in business, then I'll kind of sort them out. Not threaten them. I just mean I'll sort them out and deal with them in the right professional business way.
Mhm.
Um, that's maybe my East End, growing up in the East End. I do fight for what's fair. Not physically fight, I have to say, just in case any of the press take this out of context. I just mean that I will dig my heels in
Mhm.
until I win.
Do you think that's because you're a Libra?
Oh yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not really into star signs that much. Are you?
I
Libra.
am. That would be typical Libra now. They're all about the fairness, and what's fair is fair. And
Yeah,
they'll bring it to the end of the cliff until you understand what's fair is fair, and that's what it's all
oh,
about.
well, I always get told like I'm a Jack Russell. I will not give in. I'll just keep hold until, I get the winning thing
Yeah,
over the line.
I love it. That's so great. And I often find in business, Michelle, that a lot of people have amazing ideas and great ideas, but they don't actually know how to execute them.
Yeah.
So when you had that famous light bulb moment and you realized you needed to design this incredible bra, what was that spark of self-belief inside of you? Like, where did that come from?
I, I suppose I just didn't, as I said, I didn't have anything to lose. And
Yeah.
I always dream. It's funny, I dream and I see things. And then I work out my path when I dream and I see it. And then that's it. And then it comes true.
They call that visualization. I think if you kind of focus enough on the end result, it will happen for you.
Yeah, that's what I do. That's what I do all my career. And I go through, sometimes in deals or whatever, I'll go through like 12 rounds with Tyson and I'm physically, mentally exhausted.
Mm.
And I mean, really mentally drained.
Hmm.
And I know I'm doing it and I know I'm taking so much out of myself, but I'm addicted to it. I can't help it. I'm kind of all or nothing. So if you're going to do something, do it well, do it to your best, or don't even start it.
Yeah. So loyalty is very important to you.
Oh yeah, loyalty is
Be a
absolutely.
woman, a woman or a man of your word.
Yeah, I mean, I've had my fingers burnt so many times in my kind of 24 years of business, and yeah, that's what you do. You learn. And my mum said to me, the other day, it's a shame how you used to be this gentle little girl, and now you're very kind of hard, and you're very that's it. I'm doing it this way, and they're not getting that, and I'm not giving them this, and I think that's because you get taken for a ride so
Mm,
many times that they make you hard.
yeah. I'm not sure if you've had any time at all to watch the Hillary Clinton documentary. Have you seen it?
Oh no, I haven't, but I'd love to watch it.
Oh, it's so good. It's really, really good. I
Is
think
that
it just throws a different light and insight on her whole campaign and what that whole fiasco was like for her.
oh right, no, I haven't seen it.
No,
I'd
it's
love to.
really it's really good. But the only thing I would have thought in my mind was what really came across is how many excuse me, how many sacrifices she made. And like although she's super intelligent and has she's very ballsy and has tons of political experience, I felt
Mhm.
she still had to portray herself as this really tough, ballsy politician, to succeed in that campaign because she wasn't a man.
Well, I do think that I'm not all against men. I don't get that.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
women need more confidence, and we need to help women more because
Hmm.
it's a bit easier for them with their golfing and their rugby and their football, and
Yes.
don't tend to do all of that. So yeah, I'm all up for helping women and bringing women together. Um, but men don't scare me, and sometimes you just got to be tough, and you're a
Yeah.
woman in business, and that's all there is to it. But you don't need to be bitchy or horrible.
Yes, that was my question. So do you feel that women have to have a certain persona to succeed in business? I think you need to really, it needs to come from you, like from the toes up. for it to be, for someone to really take you seriously in business. I think you can't pretend to be a tough bitch. I think you need to really have self-belief and confidence. And if
Yeah,
that comes across, then you're winning.
yeah, that's what it is. It's confidence, and if I'm on a board with 8 guys, which I sit on a board, maybe once a quarter with them all, and I say it as it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And if you don't like it, then that's just tough. I tell you my intuition, what I feel.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you're lying, or I think that you're, trying to be bad, then I'll tell you. And
Yeah.
so there's no mucking about with me.
So you're straight up and you tell it like it is, and you like loyalty and no messing around with Michelle.
Well, that's it. But that's just the way I've always been.
It's amazing. And do you mind me asking, how on earth did you come up with the idea to hire 12 actors to dress up as surgeons and to stand outside Selfridges? It's just genius.
Yeah, I had no money left. I only had £500 left, and I was so much in debt with inventing Ultimo. It took 3.5 years of my life. And, I had 2 babies at the time, and I was pregnant at the time as well. And I had no money. So again, I've always had this talent to think outside the box and come up with ideas. So I decided to hire, 12 actors and dress them up as plastic surgeons and shout, "Ban the Ultimo bra outside Selfridges," and this created one of the biggest launches in the UK. I think it turned into something like, £45 million of coverage, and that was from £500.
Wow. Incredible. It's such a genius idea. And of course, telling anyone that they just can't buy that bra because, it's going to put a surgeon out of business is immediately going to, encourage them to storm into the store and buy the bra.
That's it. That's what they were all saying. What's this bra all about? And I couldn't even buy a tiny advert in the local paper for that £500. So
Wow.
yeah, it didn't work. But it was a risk. But £500 was worth the risk, wasn't it?
100%. And you had a bit of a giggle along the way because, you got the better of everyone and it worked.
It worked. Yeah, it certainly did.
And who have you been the most impressed by that you've met within the industry? Any industry, really?
Well, there's lots of people who I look up to in business. First of all, my husband-to-be, Doug, he's just a genius as well. He's an incredible entrepreneur that, manages about 55 businesses. I don't know how he does it.
Wow.
So I look up to him, and there's other people that I really look up to as well, as that have taught me a lot in my career, and that was Sir Tom Hunter, who's a Scottish entrepreneur. I would say there's a guy that sort of owns a Scots restaurant in the Ivy called Richard Kieran. He's always kind of given me lots of tips on how to be an entrepreneur and how to trade. And there's another guy, Ian Grubina, who taught me a lot as well. So yeah, there's lots of them, and I'm still friendly with them all to this day.
But you mentioned earlier that you're intuitive and you get a vibe off someone, so it's probably a whole combination of things for you.
Yeah, I just go with my heart, and my heart has never let me down so far.
Gosh.
So, and maybe because I've not done a deal, maybe it would have been successful, but who knows? I just always go with my heart, and my heart has never let me down.
Yeah. And how do you find public speaking? Does that come naturally to you? Because it just seems to flow from you. You come across so well, and your delivery is so strong.
I've been doing my speaking events for about 15 years, maybe more than that, and all around the world, even with people on stage, with Tony Robbins and Bill Clinton, President Bill Clinton, and sometimes 15,000 people in the audience. And, at the start, I was so nervous, and I always used to be sick behind the stage. But now I really enjoy it. I don't have any notes, so I don't know what my speech is going to be about.
Wow.
I don't stand behind, a lectern. I just wander and I look at people's eyes that I can see in front of the stage. And I just say it all from the heart. And I don't know if I'm going to cry at some point or laugh or whatever. I actually really, really love it because I love speaking to people after it for a while. Whereas some speakers, they walk in, they do their thing and then they go.
Yeah.
But I just think these people have made an effort. So I always like to hang around for a good few hours and speak to people.
Yeah, and connect with the audience afterwards. That's really nice that you do that, actually.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if you follow Diane von Furstenberg. Are you familiar with her?
I wear quite a bit of her clothes, yeah.
Yeah, she's absolutely amazing. She reminds me of yourself, actually. Her story is also incredible. And when I was last in New York, I went into her famous, one of her famous offices that's in New York. And she has a famous staircase that leads right up to the top of her building, right up to where her office is on the very, very top. And on each step, she has like a motivational thought on the steps, which is really cool. And one of them says that there isn't an elevator to the top, which is interesting because that is what she's all about. She believes you need to put in the graft and you need to work really, really hard in order to succeed in whatever business you decide to go into.
Yeah.
And you would believe the same.
Absolutely. You've got to, when you go into business, you've just got to give it your all. But I mean, I suppose what I did, sorry, I was just taking a sip of water there. What I did is I just let it take over my life, and you can't allow it to take over your life. You've got to separate the two things, otherwise it will suck you in. And I allowed it to take over my life and put on 8 stone in weight, and I was so depressed and everything else. So, that's why for my mental health, I have got to work out every single day.
Yes.
I cannot allow this being chained to a desk, for 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, take over my life. And that's why it's sort of 4:30, 5 o'clock every single day. We've been at home in lockdown. Everything goes off, and it's now me and Doug's time. And we do boot camps together outside, or we'll go walking, or because it's important that you've got your time as well. Now, back then, I suppose I wasn't in the state I am now. I wasn't wealthy. I was struggling money wise and everything. But now I'm in a fortunate situation that I never really have to work again in my life. But I love doing it. So if you love doing something, you don't really see it as work.
That's so true.
I've got that balance sorted, but that took me many, many years to get that work-life balance.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it is really important because if you enjoy business like you do and you're really passionate about it, I can actually completely understand how it can overtake you and suck you in, and suddenly you're working Saturdays and Sundays and every night of the week, and yeah, you're totally consumed by it, and and life can pass you by.
Yeah, absolutely. And life's too short, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. So how have you kind of balanced being a mom as well through the years?
Well, I suppose the guilt goes through you now that my daughter Bethany's 21 today. I suppose the guilt goes through you. I probably missed out on a lot of things. A lot of her picking her up from school and going to her Christmas concerts and all the rest of it. But I suppose sometimes you have these really guilty thoughts. But, she is where she is today because, unfortunately, with, the wealth and everything else, I wanted to give my kids a future that, I never ever had. So
Yeah,
you can't do that without sacrificing.
for sure. Do you think your kids will follow in your footsteps?
Well, Rebecca, my eldest, she has, she's an entrepreneur. She's got a very successful tanning business called UTAN.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't smell of, digestive biscuits and everything. So she's very successful. She's sort of 26 at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Declan, he is in real estate. and Bethany, she's starting her own business in health. So yeah, I mean they've all followed. They don't work for other people. They all work for themselves. So I just well, you always want just for your kids just to be um, safe and also, not into any bad stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, no matter what they want to do, if they want to be a minister or a priest or whatever they want to be, I'll be happy as
Yeah.
long as they stay out of trouble.
Yeah. And how lucky are they to have a mentor like you?
That question, I think they would tell you I'm an absolute pain in the neck
I doubt that.
because I'm always saying to them, you need to get yourself, put it in your diary, get organised, and
Yeah.
everything else. So constantly nagging at them.
Are you
But
a woman of many lists, Michelle?
sorry.
Are you a woman of many lists?
Oh, I've got everything on my desk right now.
Hmm.
It's all colour coded. And
Wow.
I've got my personal list. I've got my fitness and my eating list. I've got my business list, and it's all colour coded of traffic lights and what I've got to do by when. And
Wow.
the other thing is as well is if I ever attend a meeting, I always get there earlier. Even the kind of position that I am in my life at the moment,
Mm.
where I probably don't need to turn up to the meetings. I'm still early and I'm still on time, and I think that if someone isn't in time, it's just a sign of rudeness.
Hmm. Definitely. Yeah. Well, that means you still very much like being involved in the whole process. Then, if you like attending meetings like that, you still enjoy that.
Yeah, I do. If I want to go and I want to give my input, yeah, definitely.
Mm.
I just think it's all about respect. If you say you're going to do something, then you do it.
And what motivates you? Like, what's the motivator in everything for you?
What motivates me? I think just being a good person and giving some, I always say work your hardest, play your hardest, and give something back. So I also believe it's about giving back as well, and just really enjoying life um, and making the most of it.
Absolutely. And how would you describe your own personal style, interiors wise?
Interiors.
Yeah.
I think timeless.
Hmm.
I don't like sort of brashy things, and I don't really like a lot of gold and everything. I just think timeless, classic is probably my style.
I was looking at your website. It's lovely. Your interiors website.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. And you have very nice style. Yeah, it is. It's kind of very timeless.
But I think in the next number of months, I've been all over the media. It's been insane over the last few months just about my weight and my fitness. And everyone's saying, will you please write a book? Will you please, bring your experts together? Because I took on my experts, so that they could educate me on my body and
Hmm.
what is eating, what's right, what's wrong. And they were doing supplements for me as well, my supplements guy and my trainer and my nutritionist, so that everyone's sort of saying on Instagram, will you please bring all of your experts together and, write a book and bring out your supplements and everything. Again, if I've got time, I spoke to my experts about it, and of course they're really up for it, but it needs my time as well. And there's only so much you can do in a day.
True.
So we'll see what happens if I do that one.
Well, definitely, because you're so inspirational to so many people with your own personal story. That's a huge amount of weight loss.
Yeah,
So, and how to maintain that, is a big part of that too. So,
yeah. I mean, it is maintaining it because it's just so easy to go up and down in your weight all the time.
yeah. Have you ever seen the movie Joy?
Yes, I have.
That story could be about you. Who do you think is going to play you in your movie?
Yeah, I watched that story, that film, and right away. I mean, I was very upset watching it because I just thought that is just so me.
It is so you. It's incredible.
I thought it was a film made for me. I know, because I remember going into QVC and begging them to take my stock,
Really?
and then they wanted to send a whole lot back because the presenter couldn't sell my stuff on, and I begged them to put me on air. And they said, "No, you're not trained." I said, "Please, just put me on. You cannot send me all this stock back because, I'll lose my house and everything else." So they stuck me on air, and the stuff all sold out within like 5 minutes.
Unbelievable.
So when I was watching that, it was quite emotional. Yeah.
Such a great movie. But who do you think will play you?
Oh my goodness! If they were ever to do a movie on me, I've no idea who would play me. Would it need to be someone Scottish? I'm not sure.
Jennifer Lawrence would have been really good at playing you, but
Jennifer Lawrence, yeah, I don't mind whoever.
It's how to crack the Scottish accent will be challenging for a Hollywood star.
It'd be lovely to have JLo to say,
Amazing. Can you imagine?
the way she looks, but that's not me.
Oh, excellent. So you're based now between London and the Isle of Man, is that correct?
Yeah, London and Isle of Man, and we've got a few homes abroad as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but and also in Scotland too.
Yeah.
We're both from Glasgow. We both grew up 3 miles apart from one another, Doug and I, and we absolutely love Glasgow. So yeah, we own a few places there, and it's nice to keep, where our roots are. And we love going there, and families there as well. So, but our main home is probably the Isle of Man and London for business.
So, in any one place in any of your homes, where do you normally find that you like to gravitate towards just to relax or check, read a magazine or make a phone call or have a cup of coffee, or where would you normally like to go?
I think the Isle of Man is like a sanctuary. It's just like, we just totally relax here, and we can't relax in London. I don't know if anyone can relax in London. It's too busy. So when we come here, it's just, we seem to just breathe and just enjoy it. And, you're in the middle of the nowhere, and it's just lovely not to hear, an ambulance and cars and police cars every 2 seconds. So yeah, I'd say here.
And what's your morning ritual like? So what time does your alarm clock go off in the morning?
Well, unfortunately, I still get up during the night. So I tend to get up about 3:30, and then I can't get to sleep until about 4:15.
Wow.
My mind's just too active.
My God.
That's just the way I've always been like that. I'll probably get up at 6:30, maybe 7. And then get down to the gym, or go for a run outside. Just depends, really. Every day is different.
Yeah. And then switching off in the evening, what's that like?
Well, Doug and I have dinner together, and then we tend to go out for a walk. We like to kind of walk off for dinner and get fresh air, and then since lockdown, just watch TV, and just. Sometimes at the weekend, we've had our own karaoke nights, just the two of us.
Brilliant.
Or a disco. So we love having a little disco, a little shimmy.
Can you sing? Are you a good singer?
I think I am. When I do gin and tonic, I don't think anyone else thinks I'm a good singer. But the two of us just said, right, Friday night, Saturday night, we're going to get dressed up. And as if we're going out, and that's been good. And fortunately, the people the team that live on the estate, it's been pretty good to have everyone here. And
and how important is social media in your life?
Social media, I think it's taken over the world.
Yeah.
I think at the very beginning, I was really into Twitter and everything, but now it's taken over the world, isn't it? And
it has, yeah.
I can leave it behind; it wouldn't bother me one bit. But I like to keep in touch with people if they're looking for advice or to help them out a little bit because it's a way of communicating, isn't it?
It is.
Um, but sometimes it can be, yeah, a real negative thing as well. So I used to say what I thought, and then it would get me into lots of trouble. So I'm not as blunt on it anymore.
But it can be, yeah, a very powerful tool for some businesses. Like you said, it can be a positive or a negative.
You've got to embrace it, absolutely. But it's when it takes over your personal life, then that's not a good thing. I cannot stand. And there was a couple in the restaurant, and I said to Doug, I'm going to go up and take their phones off them because it's none of my business, right? None of my business. They can do what they like. But we're out for dinner. The only time they ever spoke was to the waiter, and that was ordering their food.
Oh my Lord.
The whole time. They didn't speak once to one another.
That's nuts.
I just think that when we go to dinner,
maybe they were texting each other.
Oh, Jesus, probably on Instagram messaging each other. That's my worry about the generation where no one is communicating, one another. It's all through social media. And that's the scary thing. So Doug and I have a rule that when we go out for dinner or we're having dinner in the house, unless it's an urgent call from, a friend or family, we don't touch our phones.
Yeah, that's really, really good. I think they should almost have like a no mobile policy in some restaurants. Really, they should, because it can be very distracting for other people as well.
It's shocking. And, I just say to my kids, put your phone down.
Yeah.
You're here to talk, not to talk to your phone.
Exactly. Like we all manage if we're on an airplane without the mobile, well, most of us do. So, I mean, you can definitely manage a 2-hour meal if you're out.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, sure. And this is just a completely off-piece question, but are you a spiritual person?
Yeah, I am. I'm a Roman Catholic, and I go to mass on a Sunday and everything else, and I say my prayers every time I go to bed at night, and I do a blessing for all of my family, all of them. So it takes me quite a little bit. And Doug's like, you know what, Michelle? You go upstairs first because you take 45 minutes to get yourself ready for bed. I'll be up in 45 minutes. So on you go. And that's because it takes me a long time to kind of, do my prayers and bless everyone and everything else. So
that's so lovely to learn that about you, actually. That's very nice. And what have you learned the most about yourself during the pandemic?
What have I learned most about myself? I actually have enjoyed it because we are on a plane every single day, just about, and not that travelling all the time. But I've realised that it stresses you out. So I actually love walking around the garden and the fields and seeing like flowers, change every day. And I sound like a freak, but I just enjoying things and taking things in that I would never, ever, ever pay attention to.
Yeah, it's so true.
And, just saying things over Zoom to your family you probably wouldn't say to them face to face. More loving things and everything else. So
yeah, you're more present probably.
I'm probably the chillest I've ever been my whole life.
Wow.
I just think that why get stressed? I was stressed my whole career over, being successful for the company. And luckily I'm at a stage now, I don't need to worry about, companies starting new ones or keeping them going or whatever, or, what about money and everything else. I don't need to worry about any of that. So I'm very, very chilled. I love sending gifts to my family and my friends and surprising them. And so, sometimes I'll have half a day where I'll sit at my laptop computer and I'll just send things, little notes and, little cards with pictures on them and everything else. Yeah. So before I never had time to do any of that.
Yeah.
My PA that used to go into a card shop and buy all my cards for me and send them. So
Wow.
Yeah,
It's been almost a mixed blessing for you.
it has been. Yeah, it's been good.
It's been a real eye opener. It's definitely people have gotten, in touch with their real values in life, and they've reevaluated their life in general, their work life balance, as you mentioned earlier.
Absolutely.
And there's been lots of really new, innovative companies being launched during this time, which is phenomenal. Lots of people have found this a very inspirational time, having all this time.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
what words of wisdom do you have for anyone out there with a big dream or an idea right now, and they're just wondering how to get it off the ground?
I think do your homework and know that what you're doing is going to be different enough for people to come away from that brand or that company or that service to you. And you've got to be different as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just you've got to go for it. And, it is hard work, but hard work pays off.
So finding what makes you different is what you really need to hone in on.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's very good advice. And how do you spend Christmas, or how do you think Christmas will be for you this year?
Well, we'll probably be in our Scottish home, probably, with our family. And yeah, just, us both being Scottish and everything else, we'll probably do that. We don't really like going away somewhere hot. We are very traditional at Christmas.
Yeah. And where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Well, in the next 5 years, when all this social distancing kind of comes to an end, Doug and I will have our big wedding day, which will be amazing. It was going to be one day, and now it's going to be a whole weekend, whenever we can do that. And I suppose just we'll probably retire more in business, and we'll start doing a lot more charity events and everything. Doug's got a foundation called the Barrowman Foundation, and I help him out quite a bit with that. So we'll be doing a lot of that as a kind of married couple. And
Lovely.
And he's just, built a Princess Trust Centre in Manchester, and he's built 12 schools in Africa, and it goes on and on and on. He's a very, very charitable guy.
Wow.
And that's what I hope to do, going forward.
Yeah, giving back.
Mm.
And what advice would you give, looking back over your life? What advice would you give to yourself?
To myself?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because, I've always stressed myself out and worried about business and worried about money, and that's just a natural thing as you're building a business. But it would have been nice just to be a lot more chilled and to tell that little girl, don't worry. But then I suppose if you didn't worry, then it wouldn't give you the fight to move on.
And keep going. Don't give up.
Yeah.
And can I steal you for 30 seconds just to ask you a quick round fire of questions?
Yeah, sure.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Bath or shower?
Shower.
Early bird or night owl?
A night owl.
Scotland or London?
Scotland.
Home or abroad?
Home.
Interiors or fashion?
Interiors.
Boot camp or a lazy Sunday in bed?
Boot camp.
Investing in or running the company?
Now I tend to do more investing in.
Email or phone call?
Oh, well, I would say 50-50, but I think phone call is the way to go because you get answers quicker.
Speaking to large groups or small groups?
Large groups.
Public speaking or business dealing?
Business dealing.
Eat in or dine out?
Dining out.
News or Netflix?
News.
And the last one is 2020 or 2021?
2020. But then 2021 because we might not be able to get married this year, so...
Thank you so much for joining us today, Michelle. It has been, you've been hugely inspirational to me and women all over the world. So thank you very much for taking the time to chat with me today.
Oh, well, thank you very much. It's been lovely having you.